Kléber Mendonça Filho's The Secret Agent is less a conventional espionage thriller and more a film about how the past endure, how institutions define what is visible, and how secrecy shapes everyday life. Seen in the light of Jacques Derrida's philosophy, the film becomes a story about ghosts. Not literal ghosts, but about how history and hidden truths continue to haunt the present. Careful, spoilers ahead. Derrida's concept of hauntology is especially illuminating here. For him, the present is inhabited by ghosts, traces of unresolved past and unrealized futures. The present is therefore shaped by events that were never fully settled. In Brazil, where the memory of dictatorship and state violence still weighs heavily, secrecy is not merely a narrative device, it is a political reality, and the secret agent revolves around this idea. By structuring the story around Flavia's present-day attempt to reconstruct the past through fragments, Mendonça makes history feel immediate and unsettled. The past does not remain buried, it returns indirectly, like an unknown ghost trying to make sense of its own story. The film shows that the past persists first and foremost in spaces. Mendonça films architecture as if it were an archive in Derrida's sense. For the philosopher, the archive is not neutral, it decides what will be remembered and what will be forgotten. Buildings become expressions of hidden experiences and untold stories. Replacing a cinema with a laboratory does not erase what once existed or what was lived there. Spaces preserve memory even when institutions attempt to literally repress it. The literal archives are also central. Armando's workplace highlights how information is classified, controlled, or destroyed. By searching for material traces of his mother, he tries to secure her existence against disappearance. Journalism plays a similar role. Newspapers scattered throughout the film help Flavia and us as viewers reconstruct the broader political context of a personal story. Memory is always assembled from fragments, but those fragments are filtered. Who decides what remains? Derrida helps us understand this filtering through the idea of secrecy. For him, a secret is not simply hidden information waiting to be revealed. Secrecy is structural. It marks the limit of what can be fully known or shared. Every political system depends on secrets, yet secrecy also destabilizes authority because it creates gaps in knowledge and trust. This helps explain the ambiguity surrounding Armando. The title plays with the meaning of secret agent. He is not only someone hiding from the state, he becomes a secret himself, someone whose life is defined by partial records. His story cannot be fully recovered. This uncertainty is not a flaw in the narrative, it is its central point. The film's low pace, fragmented temporality, and events that occur off-screen reinforce the structure of secrecy. We never receive complete clarity. Derrida calls this différance. Meaning is always deferred, never fully present. We construct the story from incomplete and scattered information, just as Flavia does. The truth remains partially inaccessible, not out of negligence, but because secrecy shapes what can appear and consequently how we interpret it. This is why, in authoritarian regimes, access to information is tightly controlled. Archives, journalism, and academic research become crucial in determining which memories survive. The seizure of Flavia's research shows how even the effort to uncover truth can be silenced. Political power operates not only by hiding facts, but by deciding what counts as knowable. At the same time, absence also produces meaning. For Derrida, what is excluded still leaves a trace. Repression does not erase the past, it displaces it, and Mendonça explores this tension between the visible and the invisible. Even when the state attempts to master visibility through surveillance, rumors, censored files, and partial testimonies, it cannot contain what exceeds it. Derrida reminds us that every archive is structured by loss. What it preserves carries the trace of what is excluded. In Mendonça's Brazil, marked by histories of authoritarian control and contested memory, the official version of events competes with the stubborn persistence of lived experience. Fernanda's reaction at the end reflects this. He has no material traces of his father, not even his own memories, and yet Armando lives on in the stories that are told. Everyday life becomes quietly haunted by what cannot be openly acknowledged. The film offers no full resolution. Not all secrets are revealed. This refusal of closure reflects a Derridian insight. The secret is never fully exhausted by disclosure. Even when something is exposed, something else remains hidden. Political life is built upon these unresolved tensions, haunted by unfinished injustices and unsettled reckonings. In the final moments, what remains is not certainty, but awareness. Even without complete records or clear memories, Armando survives in traces and narratives. The secret agent suggests that political reality is shaped as much by what is hidden as by what is visible. And even when secrets are buried, they continue to haunt us, shaping the present in subtle yet powerful ways. Through Derrida, the secret agent becomes a story about responsibility in a world where full truth is never fully available. It reminds us that the past does not simply disappear, and that we must learn to live and act in the presence of its ghosts.
Thank you for watching this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want to keep track of other videos. Don't hesitate to leave a comment or to contact me if you want to know more. See you next time!